Hey guys, good morning. April 1st, and just wanted to check in with you guys and give you a little insight on the assignment from yesterday and today. Hopefully, give you a little bit more information that'll help you to write your paragraph today that you need to write about the atomic bomb. So, I know you guys read some things on Monday and you read about the decision to drop the bomb. Then you looked at some documents yesterday about Truman and other people who were debating whether or not dropping the atomic bomb was the correct decision. And this is kind of what you're going to answer today. You're going to be able to take a minute and write your thoughts of whether or not you think dropping the atomic bomb was a good idea at the time. So, first and foremost, guys, Truman, he becomes president April 12th, 1945. Okay, April 12th, 1945, which is 4 months before the decision to drop the bomb. So imagine, being handed over the reins of the United States of America in the middle. Well, it's towards the end of the war. Germany's already surrendered. Hitler's already killed himself. But now Truman takes over after FDR dies on April 12th, and he has to make the toughest decision of his life. They come to him and tell him about the Manhattan Project. Before this, he was actually kept in the dark. FDR was the only one that knew about the Manhattan Project. Actually, there's a lot of people out there that really believe that FDR didn't really trust Truman all that much. He didn't tell him a whole lot. But that's kind of how FDR was in his presidency. He wanted to make all the decisions. So Truman takes over as president, and the fight with Japan in the Pacific is going on. The United States is taking places like Iwo Jima, and it looks like the United States is going to win. However, the Japanese will not surrender, and there's a decision to be made. The Japanese have about 2 million troops on the ground in Japan waiting for an invasion, and the United States has to take that into account. And so they demand that the Japanese surrender, otherwise, there's going to be destruction in Japan. They don't really say what that destruction is going to be. Japan does not know that the United States has an atomic bomb at this point. And the demand is rejected. Japan says, no, we're not going to surrender. So on August 6th and on August 8th, the United States dropped atomic bombs on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And then on August 14th, the Japanese surrender. So when these bombs were dropped, I believe in Hiroshima, 70,000 people died immediately. And in Nagasaki, over 80,000 people died immediately. And then hundreds of thousands of people died afterwards due to the effects of radiation and burns and other things that occurred after the dropping of the bomb. So just a horrific thing that happened. And there's a lot of people out there that really disagree with Truman's decision because of what it did to those innocent lives. Okay, it wasn't like we dropped, and I say we, the United States. It wasn't like the United States dropped the bomb over military bases, because they didn't. They dropped it over civilian life. So some people claim what Truman did was idiotic and brought us into a new nuclear age where our country found where other countries found ways to get nuclear weapons also. Okay, this is the lead into the Cold War. Some also believe that the Japanese were actually going to surrender soon, and it was that this actually was an act of racism. Some people say that if this was against a group of white civilians, that this would never have happened, that the United States wouldn't have done it. I don't know how valid that claim is. I think that's a little far-fetched, but it's still something that some people believe. And so that's something to take into account. Others argue that on the other side that this was an important move for the United States, right? That it would show the Japanese that they had the nuclear bomb, and hopefully they would surrender right away. And that does kind of happen. Yes, they have to drop two. They do actually, try to, they give the Japanese a day to surrender after August 6th, and they don't, so they drop another one on August 8th. And then they finally surrender on August 14th. The United States wasn't prepared to drop another one quite yet, so they gave time for the Japanese to actually declare that formal surrendering on August 14th, which is also known as VJ Day, or Victory in Japan Day. So the other part of this is the Soviets. So the Soviets are allies to the United States during this time, meaning they are fighting in the same war. They helped destroy Germany. They're helping in the war against Japan. they have countless deaths that they've suffered on the Soviet side with their soldiers, which we'll talk about later, kind of getting into the Cold War. But the United States actually, a lot of people believe that the United States dropped the bomb because they believed that it would show the Soviet Union how powerful the U.S. was, so that when this war actually was over, that the Soviets would kind of take a step back. At this time, the Soviets and the United States really don't like each other. They got two very different forms of government, communism and democracy, and two very different types of economies in capitalism and socialism. So you have these two sides that really don't like each other fundamentally for their ideas and how they think about how people should be treated governmentally and how the economy should be run, who are going to end up being world powers at the end of this war. Which is kind of where we're going to go here with this Cold War. But people believe that dropping the bomb, it was kind of like, well, we have this power, so if you're if you want to go anywhere with this, it's not going to go far because we have a nuclear bomb. But as some of us may know, and some of us may not, the Soviets themselves develop a bomb in 1949, and then it's kind of game on from that point. So. In the end, back to the atomic bomb real quick, Truman believed it was way too risky to send troops into Japan. That was his decision. He said it was purely military, and he did not want to risk the lives of more soldiers after this 4-year-long war that had already occurred. So that was the decision that he made. So your assignment today, okay, if you look at that part B, it basically tells you to explain or create an argument for which side you agree with here. Do you agree that the United States should have dropped the atomic bomb? Or do you believe that the United States should have waited longer or even sent more troops into Japan to try to fight them that way instead of killing innocent lives? This can go either way. This is a moral decision. There's a lot of people out there that really believe that this was the right decision. There's other people that really believe that this was the wrong decision, but it's kind of up to you. So I just want you to write 5 to 7 sentences. Ms. Torres has posted the assignment. It says to create an argument. So you're basically telling us, whether or not you believe that the United States made the right decision. And then you should use 2 of the documents from yesterday's assignment. The documents from yesterday are pretty good. They really give both sides of the story. It's important if you didn't do those to do those first. Also, if you did do them, make sure you go back and look at who the source is, who wrote each of these documents, because that's going to come into play also. So if you have any questions about this, let me know. Shoot me, Mr. Charlie, Ms. Torres, an email, or send us a message on Google Classroom, and we can respond to it, and we'll kind of go from there. I'm going to upload a video tomorrow and Friday as well, just kind of talking about the Cold War, and also kind of showing you guys how to do a curtain opener from home. We are still going to use those, but until then, best of luck with today's assignment. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing your guys' response. Have a great day.